and a number of different roles. I think, Madam Speaker, like many of us, I've seen education in the role of a student. And a student right here in Greater Victoria. I feel very fortunate that I had the opportunity to be educated in public schools right here in this district. James Bay School, South Park School, Central Junior High School, Oak Bay High, and Spectrum. And I name those schools proudly, Madam Speaker, because I'm very proud of the education that I received in those schools. And I thank the teachers and the other educators who provided that incredible education. I've also had the good fortune to be involved in education as a mother of 2 kids who were also educated in the public school system. Again, right here in Greater Victoria. In fact, Madam Speaker, it was one of those rare times, I think, in communities where my children had some of the same teachers that I had in school. Not sure my kids appreciated that when they get the comments back, but it's an interesting perspective to be able to have your children attend a school that you attended, as I said, with some of the same dedicated teachers in that school. And I was very involved in the education system as a parent. I was president of the Parent Association, and so that's another role where I had a chance to see firsthand the involvement of teachers in our school system, because anyone knows who's involved in a parent association that you see how hard teachers work. You know, you hear comments once in a while about people talking about the time that teachers spend in the classroom. Well, anyone who's been involved in school, anyone who cares about education knows that a teacher's job is not the school day. A teacher's job is the school day and the mornings and the weekends and the evenings and the events they go to and the prep time and the work that they do to put those things together. And you see that firsthand when you're involved in the Parent Association. And I feel very grateful for that opportunity because, as I said, it gave me a very good perspective on the work of teachers. I also have been involved in education, Madam Speaker, as the child of a teacher. My mom was a single parent for a large portion of my life growing up and was a teacher in the school district, again, here in Greater Victoria. And anyone will know this who had a mom as a teacher or a father as a teacher, that August has a very special meaning, because it's the time you start to spend going to the school and going to the classroom and getting it set up for September. Because the school year for teachers starts then in August, when you're getting the classroom ready. And I have fond memories of spending time putting posters up and getting the classroom ready for September. And I think anyone who's had a parent as a teacher thinks of that time fondly and recognizes the time and the energy that was put in. Any child who has a parent as a teacher remembers report card time and those weeks that are spent getting those report cards done, preparing for those report cards, the incredible time that teachers put in. And I'm sure anyone who's had a parent as a teacher also remembers those students who became lifelong, for our family members, who remember my mother was a teacher in special education. And so we had students, we still have students who come back in the summertime to visit my mom. Although she's been retired for over 10 years, will come back to visit and are connected to our family because of the time and the energy that was put in. And so that creates a special, unique view of education. I also have seen education as a foster parent of children with special needs. I was a foster parent for over 20 years, and again had children and young adults who went into the public school system with great needs, great special needs. And I saw the incredible time and energy put in by teachers to meet their unique needs. To be able to, despite all of the challenges and despite all of the odds, who wanted to do everything they could to make sure that those children received the best education possible and the best start possible. And that's, again, a unique view of the education system. I also served as an elected school trustee for 11 years in the Greater Victoria School District. And that's, again, a unique view of the education system. And Madam Speaker, I sat at the bargaining table. I sat across from employees as an elected school trustee, as a member of the employer, bargaining with all different employee groups. And one of the most important things I learned through any of the bargaining that was done was that the key to come to the table for successful bargaining was respect. That was the key in any relationship. That no matter how difficult, and we had some difficult bargaining times in our school district over my 11 years as school trustee. We didn't agree on everything around our table. We had some very tough talks. But we knew that we respected the employees and the employees respected us back. And that meant we could get through those difficult conversations. We could come to agreement because we had a common goal, which was to improve our education system for everyone. And Madam Speaker, I just don't see that. I just don't see that with the BC Liberals. And that's probably the word I've heard the most often from parents and students and teachers that I've talked to since this bill was introduced and since we knew that it was coming in the legislature, is the lack of respect that people in the profession feel. The lack of respect that hampers everything in our education system. And that's so critical, as I said, to a good relationship, to good bargaining at the table, is that respect. And I think it's unfortunate that that's what we've seen from the BC Liberals. And why is education important? I just want to take a minute to talk about that, because I think people often may look at education as important simply for their children while they're in the education system. And my experience has certainly deepened my belief that education is critical to all of us, regardless of whether we have children in the education system, regardless of whether we are parents or business people. Education is critical to us as a society, Madam Speaker. It's critical to us as a society because it's the basis of a fair and democratic society. Education is there for everyone, Madam Speaker. You can't say that about a lot of services that are out there, whether it's government services or community services. Our education system is there for everyone. It brings people together from different views in life, from different parts of a community, from different ethnic communities, all come together in our education system. Education strengthens and enriches our communities. It's critical to a good, healthy citizenship, critical to a good, healthy society. Education is critical to a strong economy. If we don't have well-educated citizens, we won't have a strong economy. If we don't have creative minds coming out of our education system, where are the next inventors coming from? Where are the next creative entrepreneurs coming from? Well, Madam Speaker, they're coming from our education system. The education system provides the foundation for a strong community and a strong economy for everyone. A strong education system also, Madam Speaker, will save us resources in other areas of social programs. A good quality education will save us resources later on from the justice system, from the healthcare system, and from social programs. Every measure of population health, whether it's poverty issues or whether it's ill health issues, talks about education as key to a healthy population. It's critical, Madam Speaker, that we strengthen our education system in British Columbia. Critical for all of us, whether you have children in the system or not, whether you have a connection to education or not. It matters to all of us in society to have a strong public education system. And everyone in the system is important, Madam Speaker. I've certainly worked with everyone across the education system, principals and vice principals, support staff, boards of education, parents, and of course students. But I want to talk for the purpose of this bill, because this bill really does take on an attack in our teachers in British Columbia. The teachers really are the people who are there in the classroom with our children for a large portion of their life. They're the unsung heroes in our society. They are the people who educate our future. And what could be more important, Madam Speaker, than supporting those people in our classrooms every day who are educating the future of our society. It's a critical role that is not being respected by the introduction of this bill, Madam Speaker. I want to read a quote for a moment, and I'm sure some people have heard this quote, but I think it really describes for me the reality for teachers in classrooms every single day. And it's a quote by a longtime teacher. It says, if a doctor, lawyer, or dentist had 40 people in their office all at one time, all of whom had different needs, and some of whom didn't want to be there and were causing trouble, and the doctor, the lawyer, or the dentist, with little or no assistance, had to treat them all with professional excellence for the entire school year, then they might have some concept of what the classroom teacher's job is like every single day. And I think that's a good description, Madam Speaker, of the challenges of a teacher. And I think many of us, some of us on this side, have had the good fortune of having grandchildren over the last number of years. And I certainly know, Madam Speaker, I love looking after my grandchildren, but I also know, Madam Speaker, how exhausted I am at the end of the day when I've had my 2 grandchildren over and I spent a day and had a day with them. Well, just imagine, Madam Speaker, having 25 or 30 of those children with differing needs, with differing challenges, every single day in a classroom. That's the extraordinary job that our teachers do every single day, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, and I can get with that because I've been out in the courtyard with the kids, and I'd end up going between 40 to 65 kids throughout a 12-hour day, right? And that's just outside. And you do have a multiple personalities of different children coming in with different needs and different levels of
Madam Speaker,
development.
pick a fight with something so important as education. And I wish it wasn't so, but Madam Speaker, there's a history here. There's a history here of not only this government picking a fight with teachers in the education system, but this premier picking a fight with teachers and the education system. And let's take a minute just to look at that, Madam Speaker, because it is important to look at the history. This isn't a one-time event for the BC Liberals to decide to pick a fight with teachers in our education system.
I'm going to have to turn this on and turn it back on.
Battle that started off with the Premier when she was, in fact, Education Minister, Madam Speaker. Mm-hmm. We heard the government, the BC Liberals, when they ran for election back in 2001, talk about the importance of funding education.